It is Wednesday night once again. This is the Wednesday night mouse party. Sorry for being a little bit late. I've been kind of off kilter all day. I almost forgot. Well, I did forget to schedule the chat to begin with. Then about half an hour ago, Barbecue's like, "Hey, what's the deal, buddy?" And realized that I had forgotten to even schedule a chat. Scheduled it, and then forgot to put the link out for guests to come in. It's just been that kind of day. But we've got Gizzard Gary tonight. How's it going, Gary?
It's going. Thanks for having me.
And Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for the invite. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hopefully I can get my shit together here. Let me get the stream up here so I can post the link for this week's poll.
Wow, look who's in the chat.
Say what?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
It's Baron.
No way.
But he's sick, so.
Oh.
There we go. Pinned at the top of the chat is the link for this week's poll. If you haven't voted yet, head over there and give her a vote. It's about what you're doing for Halloween tomorrow, as tonight is Devil's Night. In I think it started in Detroit. Devil's Night, when they caused chaos the night before Halloween.
So if Baron is sick, does that mean he's obscene too?
Ooh.
Yeah, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Hoo.
I wonder if he can figure out my riddle.
But so far, 2 Live Moo. Oops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Hold on there. There we go. 2 Live Moo. Ozzy Orsborn. Gizzard Gary. Vulcan Rumble. Asking, is this the last? Yes, it is the last Wednesday chat for the foreseeable future. Everything's going to go to Saturdays now. I am Barons out there. And the Saint.
The Saint came marching in.
He said I always called it Mischief Night. Oh, I never did cause any great trouble around Halloween. You know, we didn't egg or TP houses or anything like that.
No, I didn't either.
I don't know if I believe that, Gary. Gary's a sweet guy, but underneath there's a troublemaker.
Well, there was me then, and there's me now.
Yeah, you're still kind of a troublemaker at heart.
Yeah, but I didn't have the restraint then that I do now. I thought about doing something. Oftentimes I just did it. I didn't think about the consequences. Now I know the consequences.
How many times did you get married?
I'm going to try to remember that I like you.
What about you, Barbecue? Were you a troublemaker?
Yeah, how many
Well, I
times
know
did
you
you
were a
get married?
troublemaker, but
No, I was a trouble ender. I tried to stay out of trouble, believe it or not. Every once in a while, trouble would find me for some reason, and then it would normally regret it. And that's not to say I'm some sort of hard ass or anything. It's just, luckily, the trouble that would find me was not the trouble that I couldn't handle.
Well, let me see. Yeah, I am off my game tonight. Way off. It's going to show. Window. Whoop. There we go. I've got a picture from way back when, the Wayback Machine. Oop, clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. I don't remember what year this is because I don't remember years anymore. But that's me as a little kid. That was at our old house, so it was the 70s, I can tell you that. Yeah, my sister was in this picture, but I had cut her out because I was using this picture for something else. But here is a mouse. And I was going to show, this is the last time that I dressed up. That was a question for the panel. The last time you dressed up for Halloween, what were you dressed as? My son wanted to be a king, so I bought a jester outfit to walk around with him.
Full out dressed on purpose?
Yep.
It was more or less a generic, I was supposed to be a nerd. I was invited to a Halloween party, so I got, I think it was just a plain white button-up dress shirt, and I put a pocket protector in my pocket and a bunch of pencils and shit like that, and then got a sport coat that was about 3 sizes too big and put on. I got a pair of safety glasses from work. This was back when they had the old Plano cheapy safety glasses. It had the thick plastic frames on them and stuff like that. Kind of give me a Buddy Holly look, you know. Slicked my hair back a little bit. But I didn't have a chance because that was the year the Drew Carey impersonator made it to the party. He killed it.
And I've got this picture that Barbecue had sent in last year.
I have no idea.
Him dressed up as Ninja Turtle with his kid.
Those are real practice size from Blade USA.
But was this? Oh, this one is branded the Almost Nightly Firearms Expo. I was trying to remember when
yep.
you shut that down.
I think it's been about a year. Not quite a year, but close to.
But that's pretty awesome.
This
So
year
what
I'm
was
going
the-
as. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say this year I'm going as Billy Bob from Varsity Blues.
I've never seen Varsity Blues.
I enjoy that movie.
I know it's somewhat popular, but
Yes.
never saw it. The Saint said, hang on, I'm clicking on the wrong thing here. There we go. Saint said hobo was an easy costume, including lately. Well, that's like every year I dress up for work for Halloween. I dress up as a disgruntled employee. It's a year-round costume. Two Live Moose said no comment on Devil's Night, although the statute of limitations has expired. Yeah, I've heard some of the stories Two Live Moo has told me about his youth, so I can believe he was up to some shenanigans. And Barrett said he got his pumpkins carved just in time. Posted pics in the Discord. There's pictures of his pumpkins there. I don't think I put a link for the Discord in the description because I was kind of rushed. But Baron, can you post a link for the Discord out in the chat for me? I would appreciate it. Mr. Bob Dabalina said, I always dress like a serial killer. They look like everyone else. Nicest person you'll ever meet is a serial killer. And Baron said, I'm dressed as a homicidal maniac. We look exactly the same as everyone else. Moose said, I don't like that people actually remember my drunken stories from my youth. And Saint said, I'm glad no cell phones were around when I was a kid. No evidence.
Who did you ask to post a link out in the chat?
I asked Baron.
Oh, okay. I just heard the end of it. It's like, did he ask me or did he ask somebody else?
So Baron posted a link for the Discord server, place to hang out, chit chat, share pictures, memes, and stuff like that. And you can get a hold of me there or pretty much anybody else that comes on the chat. And that reminds me to get the banner going. That has a link there that so at the bottom of the screen, there's a banner with an email address, untactfulfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord server. Yeah. But I was actually gonna do a bracket tonight, but since I had forgotten all about the chat, I didn't get a bracket together. I was gonna look up, search the internet for different costumes, and then we would pick which was the best costume. But yeah,
It happens.
yeah, it seems to happen more and more these days. But there we go. Link. Baron's got a working link for the Discord server out there. Ozzy said Tuesday is garbage day.
Oh, I'm ready. I got my can right here.
Our garbage days are Fridays.
You do know what that's in reference to, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard an actual clip of it, but I've heard people talking about Biden saying the Trump voters are garbage.
Mm-hmm. It's literally what he said. He claimed that isn't what he meant, but here he didn't.
Yeah, and I've heard that in the transcript that some of the news outlets have added a comma that really shouldn't be there to try and separate out the garbage from the other parts of the statements. Vulcan Rumble is asking, is the HKCC9 too low in capacity? What's the capacity of an HKCC9?
How low does it go?
I just heard about this, but I don't remember.
Let's see what HK has to say. Testing this and
We hate customers and will no longer sell to civilians, only military contracts. Thank you. Fuck off.
what?
Was I close? Is that what the website says?
No, but that's not telling me what I need to know. Oh, it's 10 plus 1. More than one is good. And there are 12 round extended magazines. And I can't really show this because StreamYard rules. But I don't know. 10 is better than 1. And in Washington right now, we have 10 round limit. If anything you had before the law went into effect is grandfathered in. So if you had higher capacity than that, you can still carry those. But anything after that, you bought after that, could only have 10 rounds. So I've been carrying my Taurus TH40 with 10 rounds. I'm okay with it. Used to carry my PPK all the time, and that's only 8. So it's 7 plus 1. And the rare occasions that I carry a revolver, it'll be usually the air weight, which is 5, and then I'll carry a couple speed loaders, but I don't know, it's just kind of whatever you want. Oh, what do you think, Gary? Is 10 not enough?
Well, considering I carry a 5-shot revolver, yeah, 10's enough. That's typically what I carry, and when I carry my semi in my 365, 10 plus 1.
I drive 365.
Barbecue? What do you think? I know there are people that they have to have extendo mags.
I'm gonna say I carry typically either a 1911, which at best I'm 8 plus 1, or my 329 PD, which I've got 6 in this cylinder then. So I mean, I would be fine with it, but at that point, I think it's just, to each person. I am very analytic based. I find solace in numbers. So, and if anybody isn't quite following that, just percentages, things like that. I find it easy to rationalize things that way. So when you consider that the vast majority of self-defense situations with a firearm never even involve a shot being fired, and then if a shot is fired, the average amount of times that a shot's fired is 3.5 to 4 shots. Given those numbers, yeah, 10 should be fine. Is that saying that it is? Because again, that's an average. You might have to do a reload. You might. Should you? Probably not. But your situation may not be average. So, for me, I would feel comfortable, but everybody has to weigh out what their geographic location is, what they're doing with their life and for a living, and it's a hard one to say yay or nay to, but for myself, I'd say yes.
Mr. Bob said the website said 10 or 12 rounds. The Saint said I was asking, isn't the original Smith & Wesson Shield only 7 or 8 rounds? I'm not sure.
The Shield, I don't remember about the Shield. Something like that. Because, and here's something else that I carry when I know I'm going to have to conceal, and hate to do it, but I'll carry a Ruger EC9S, and I think that is 7+1. So, again, I would feel fine with this.
Ozzy said at least 10 rounds is what I prefer. M. Gabriel's out there. He said carry a straw for spitballs, maybe boba tea straw if in a bad neighborhood. And Ozzy said, I've been carrying Bodyguard 2.0 for the last month.
Ooh, how's he liking that? I forgot he had that.
And Ozzy said, a little part of my brain thinks Biden is trying to put the kibosh on Camel Toe's election. It's hard to tell if he's trying to gum up the works or if he's just out there and saying nonsensical crap, because that's what he does.
I think it's the latter. To give him enough credit to say that he's actually trying to purposely sabotage her campaign would mean that he really does have his faculties about him.
Ozzy said he likes the Bodyguard so much he made a couple other holsters for it.
Nice.
I sent in in Washington, we have all mail-in ballots. I think you can go to polling places. I'm not sure, but they mail out ballots to everyone. I sent mine in today. So I voted.
Good job. Proud of you.
M. Gabriel says the BG2 has a lower bore axis than the 380 Max, from Ruger. Went out to the range Monday and had some fun. Just took my 30-06, took my Howa out, and took the couple handguns. Took the Apex A1 Beretta Apex A1 carry. Was making sure the red dot on it was sighted in, and it's hard to tell because I'm still kind of all over the place with it. It is not a tack driver, but for up close, it'll get the job done. And the 380, it took the 380 EZ out. It was rainy, but still, it was kind of nice. When I was leaving, I'll ask you guys what you would have done here. It's I don't know how big the property is. It's 10, 20 acres, whatever. But it's wooded and kind of uphill. And I was coming down the road. It's a 1-lane road. And there's an old guy walking up the hill, and he flags me down, and he's kind of out of breath and a little disheveled. And he asked me, "Can you let my wife in the gate?" It's a private club, so you got a key card to get in. But he asked me, "Can you let my wife in?" And he goes, well, "You know me?" I said, "No, I don't know you." And he goes, "We've met before." I said, "No, this is the first time we've met." And he said, "Well, I'm on the board, on the board for the club." That's what he's talking about. And I'm like, "Okay." And then he goes, "Oh, I was meeting somebody out here. I had to bring him some stuff." And then he describes somebody, and there was one other guy that was out there, and his description kind of did seem to fit the guy that was out there. But it's like, well, he kind of seems like a crazy guy that isn't sure where he is. But when I got to the gate, there was a lady, an older lady waiting in the car, and I talked to her, and then she came in. But would you have let somebody in that situation, or?
Feel like I would have screamed zombie and hit him with my door and sped away. It's that time of year. I can't take any risks.
I mean, at first, I'm trying to figure out, is this just a lost old man who's not quite all there? Or I'm pretty sure it was all on the up and up. What would you have done, Gary?
That's a tough one to say. Wasn't anybody you could check with?
No, not really.
So what's the implications if he got in and he didn't belong there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there really isn't a lot of stuff to steal, and it didn't seem like a guy that would just, be looking to ransack anything.
It's probably okay then.
What if this was a test to see if people are letting people in Shouldn't be. And now
actually-
you lose your membership.
I actually thought about that. Because while he was talking to me, he said that he had forgotten his key card. And that
How the hell did you get in?
that did run through my mind is this a setup? Mr. Bob said if he was walking up to open the gate, I would have offered him a ride to the gate so he could open it. He was on the inside of the gate, walking up the hill. So he had already gone past the gate, and his wife was waiting outside the gate. But so I don't know. They haven't pulled my membership, so I don't think it was a setup. And Ozzy sent in a picture of the holster that he had made. And Ozzy's holsters are just getting better and better and better.
Yep.
Check that out. How much time do you have into a holster like that, Ozzy? Just out of curiosity. And I realize you probably don't keep track of the amount of hours that you actually put into a holster, but if you could ballpark it.
Very nice. Very nice. Moo said as a club member, he should know the rules as well. Baron said give him a sticker and drive off. I do keep stickers with me just in case. Mr. Bob said, you said there was a third person at the range the old guy was supposed to take something to. You could have taken the old guy to get the key from the person he was there to do business with. I could have, but I didn't. Ozzy said 5 to 6 hours to do the holster.
Oh, that's not doesn't sound too terrible.
Nah, it seems quick to me. And Mr. Bob said, or at least confirmation of his ID. Oh, yeah. Come on. Ozzy said that's the holster for CZP01.
See that Ozzy was testing us. He's like going to send us holster for a CZP01 just to see if they realize it's not for the bodyguard.
Well, I should have caught that because he's got a blue gun that's a CZ in it. I didn't even look at it. Didn't notice. But in general, it was I wasn't at the range very long. Only shot 20 rounds with 30-06, but with 30-06, that's plenty enough. Did a couple shorts from it, put those up. And since there was only one other guy there, then I was able to run my faux pro. I don't have a real GoPro. I have an off-brand. My Faux Pro was able to put that out up close to the steel, so I was happy with the shots it got at hitting the steel. It's 200 yards. M. Gabriel said, I go to the Elks Club once a year to pay dues with no ID card, and they let me in. I got my little Lee press. Worked on getting my die set up. Made a couple dummy rounds, 357 and a 40. So I could get the die set and I can start making my own ammunition.
Nice.
It's a 4-turret Lee 4-turret press, but I took the center rod out so I could manually turn it, make it more like a single stage, especially while I'm learning. Then I, go step by step and not get mixed up. But I made up. I've got 99 primed cases because I dropped one primer. Well, I dropped a bunch of primers, but I found all but one. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, and I figure I want to do 357, 40, 10 millimeter, 38 special because I've got the 357 dies will do 38 and 357. The 40 will do 10 and 40. 450 Bushmaster and probably would like to do more, but those are kind of what I'm thinking for now. I need to buy a die set for 450 Bushmaster. But kind of excited to get those going. And I don't want to do any necked rounds. I only want to do straight walled, just because I don't want to invest in the case prepping stuff and annealing and all that.
Understandable.
And I went through and decapped all my brass that I have. I don't have a lot of spent brass. It's probably I don't have a clue how much. At least 2,000 rounds. I don't know for sure. But was having fun. I bought a universal decapper. Set that up. So went through, got all that done. Yeah, there's still stuff I need to learn. Like the powder I have was, I know there are different powders, but I don't know which ones you are more favorable and different for different loadings and stuff. The one I bought was just, I opened up the book, the loading book, and it was a name that was on the list. So I bought that one. I bought the Hodgson Longshot. But I bought the press kind of back right when COVID started, and then all the supplies disappeared. So I put it on the back burner and have just been saving brass and kind of decapping the 40 and the 10 millimeters, and decided, maybe it's time I can get supplies now. So maybe it's time to actually try getting stuff done with it.
Like it.
So yeah, and when I bought it, it was mainly not, I'm not doing competition shooting, so I don't need to generate lots of rounds, and it was more just a backup for when supplies get short. Then I'm able to make stuff if I need to make stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of just one of those things. Did it because I felt like doing it, I guess. I don't know. And it can't be that hard. A lot of people do it, and not many of them blow themselves up. So
It's true.
oh, I guess we can talk about this week's poll.
Oh yeah.
There is that. Let me find the where we go. I think that's it. So this week's poll, let me go over to the comments page. Oop, sort by newest. There we go. So what are you doing for Halloween? Taking the kids or trick-or-treating, giving out candy to trick-or-treaters, going to a Halloween party, or turning off the lights and going to bed? And turning off the lights and going to bed, 58%. 22% said giving out candy to trick-or-treaters. 15% taking the kids trick-or-treating. And 4% going to a Halloween party. Looking at the comments, Tim Allen said, I work from 6:15 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Plus, I live out in the country on a dirt road, so most likely be going to bed early. The goddamn bacon said, I have never had trick-or-treaters, even when I bought candy for them. As an aside, where's the option for go to friendly territory and drink there? Asking for a friend. Two-Way Chef and Barbecue. We live in yuppie hell. Kids don't trick or treat here. They all go to these staged candy drop events. Lights out, watching TV, going to bed. Take my shoes off. So we don't have trick or treaters. I guess I'll just go to bed. Mini Wayne said chasing isn't on the list. X Adam 1 working. Calaveras 32 special. Family-friendly Halloween movies in the driveway and handing out candy. And FUKUYT Mark 6. The usual, casting spells, experimenting with corpses, transforming horrific bloodthirsty creatures like demonic Democrats. Oop, I think I missed Abigail's. Abigail Sorsha Finnegan said celebrating Samhain with Liz and spreading cinnamon ash around the house.
Interesting.
So what are you guys doing?
I'm curious what's with the cinnamon ash.
I don't know if she's Wiccan or not.
And I am taking the children trick-or-treating.
Do you stay in the neighborhood, or do you go like down to the mall or something like that? Or
That there's no trick or treating in our neighborhood because we're out in the middle of nowhere, so we have to go into town. But then we just go to neighborhood in town.
how's the hall? Do they give out good candy?
Depends on where you go. Like there's one area in town that's called the Plateau. It's where all the rich people are, and if you go up there, they like every house is giving out full size bars, but it's a madhouse up there. It's just people everywhere because they know, that's where the doctors and the lawyers and everything else live, and they're giving out full size bars. It's like they're all trying to outdo each other. So it's kind of mythical to me because never went there as a kid. I've only heard about it from people, but I do know it exists.
There was a neighborhood like that when I was growing up. The neighborhood next to ours, they'd give out full size candy bars. They'd have like the big cases, big boxes of full size candy bars. How about you, Gary? Do you get trick or treaters? Gonna give out candy?
I've lived here 3 years. I've had one trick or treater. That being said, I did buy a small bag of candy today, just in case, because I don't want to be the guy who they knock on the door and I'd have to, have a sad kid at my door because I didn't have candy. So there is candy. I don't expect. I live in an apartment building, so usually it would have to be one of the kids that live here. But if they come by, I got candy. I got enough for all of them.
Why don't you put a note on your door saying, I have candy for trick or treaters?
Well, that would work for the 3 apartments up on this level, but the people down below me wouldn't know. And it's not like I'm going to put a note in the laundry room and say, hey, want some candy? Come up to 11.
You should. Have you ever thought about getting a van? You can
Get in a band?
drive around in a van and tell kids you got free candy.
Oh, God.
Just paint it right on the side. Free candy. And puppies.
Yeah, we've only got one guy around here that's got a van and puppies, and I ain't him. So, and he's not in here tonight. So,
Last couple of years we've just put the bowl out on the porch, and nobody's stolen it yet. So, probably I have to work, so we'll probably do that again.
I see videos of kids cleaning out those bowls too.
Yeah.
Like people's ring doorbells and stuff like that.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. And we don't get, for some reason, we're on the corner and a lot of kids will just walk past our house. So usually at the end of the night, we'll have quite a bit left, and I'll just, when I'm ready to shut the lights off, I'll just dump it in whatever the kid happens to be at the door. They get a bunch of candy.
You're like, gee, thanks, mister.
I do enjoy seeing the little kids in their costumes and stuff. There's cute little kids in their Halloween costumes. I did like doing, handing out candy. I think last year my wife took my daughter down to I think they went down to the mall, walked around the mall, because each of the shops will give out candy. We used to do that at our old place. There's an outlet mall, go down there. That's where that picture of my son and me. That's we're outside the outlet mall there. Did you guys use a pillowcase when you were kids for candy, or did you have a
No.
bucket?
No, we usually had bags.
It says like
Some
a
years we
Walmart
used paper
bag.
sacks.
Really? I don't know. Everyone, I don't know. Maybe we were just the poor kids, but growing up, everybody used pillowcases.
Well, they hold a lot more candy. I wish I'd have thought of that when I was a kid.
Beats the hell
What
out of a
was-
Walmart bag.
What was your favorite costume that you had when you were a kid, if you can remember any of them?
Hmm.
Well, Foss, that is a great question.
I had a full football uniform. It was a Washington Redskins football uniform. My sisters, they lived in D.C. in the late 60s. So I would have been probably 6 or 7 when they got this for me. Helmet, shoulder pads, all that stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. I remember wearing that for one of my first Halloweens. And then I remember when I was either in I was probably a freshman in high school, probably too old to be trick or treating at this time, but we were kind of trick or treating / getting in trouble at the same time. So I got a black overcoat that belonged to my dad out of the garage, and I made myself a cape out of it and went as a vampire with that. That was a fun night.
What about you, Barbecue?
I honestly, I can't really remember any costumes that I had. When I turned 12, I wasn't allowed to trick or treat anymore. I was told that if I was old enough to carry a gun in the woods, that I was too old to trick or treat. So, yeah, you figure, there's probably only half dozen years that you would really remember trick or treating. I cannot remember for the life of me any of the costumes that I had.
I only remember a few. It's like the mouse, the one that I showed. Zorro one year. My mom carved me a sword. And cop one year. And I know I've had some of those, the cheap plastic costumes with the plastic masks that you can't see or breathe out of. But I don't remember what any of them were. And I don't know if I could say I had a favorite one. Yeah. I don't know. I stumped myself with that question. Can't say that I did enjoy when my son was young, making costumes for him. Made a few. One year he wanted to be a star, so I made him. I kind of put too much effort into it. I realized after I had finished, but I made a star, but I'd made it out of foam, so it was like a costume, covered it in silver shelf liner, so it was reflective, and then put Christmas lights in it so it would twinkle. But I had, made it out of foam, and I realized, well, when I finished, I could have just made this out of cardboard. Kind of would have looked the same, and nobody would have known the difference. Would have been a lot easier. Probably my favorite one I made for him was, I only made some of it, and then we bought some of the parts. He was Darth Meow, so he was a Sith cat. He had a little nose and ears, and then I made a little sign that said Darth Meow that lit up.
That's pretty sweet. I like that.
But never went to like Halloween parties and stuff like that when I got older. It's kind of when you hit the kind of tweens and you kind of time out of trick-or-treating, then just kind of didn't do anything else, other than hand out candy.
I handed out candy one year. I thought that was pretty fun. I shouldn't say 1 year. I did it for a couple.
I do, and enjoy handing out, seeing the kids' costumes, and now and again chit-chatting with the parents. Everybody's in a good mood. It's kind of like Christmas. So this coming up Saturday, we're doing a giveaway for the overnight. There'll be some patches. Got a couple special patches that I bought.
They're pretty awesome.
Hang on, I always forget to make myself big. There we go. The See You in Hell patch. The Don't Be a Cuntosaurus. And then a couple different little survival cards. One is a set with hooks, and then lures that you can pop out of the cards. And with this one, it's kind of neat that the black, I think it's sticky because it says you can put the hooks back on the card. And then there's a different set that has a whole bunch of hooks and arrowheads and weights and knife, little saw. And then I'll probably send in put in other stuff because I came across a bunch of stuff I had bought for giveaways that I had kind of forgotten that I had, like little flashlights and stuff like that. So I'll probably throw together packages and we'll do two prize packs. And then from starting next Saturday, all the chats will be on Saturday. So we'll go every Saturday and it'll be the overnight mouse party. We're combining the two, and no more Wednesday chats.
So how's the numbering gonna work? Are you gonna start over at 1 on this since it's a name you've never used before? Or
Yep, I think we're gonna start over.
clean start.
Yep, clean slate. I wasn't sure what to do with the numbering, and talking with G-Webs, and he's like, "Yeah, you have to start over. It's a new chat." Yeah,
I don't know why. I just thought of that.
because I did debate that whether I should go with an overnight, continue the numbering from the overnight, or switch it to the mouse party, or it's like, well, we'll just start over. M. Gabriel said everyone's in a good mood till a group of kids tries to take everything left out in the bowl.
It's gonna require all new intros and everything.
Yeah. But I took next week off, so I've got time to work on stuff. I got time to come on your chats.
Ooh. Very nice.
Lots of stuff I need to do. I need to take my Marlin 60 apart. It's not ejecting properly, so it turned itself into a bolt action.
No, that's not good.
That's no bueno.
Yeah, so I need to see if the ejector's bent, or I've just I haven't wanted to take it apart. But I need to take it apart, clean it, and try and get it working right. And I've found some videos on YouTube that talk about different things that can go wrong. So we'll see if we can get it fixed. So, what else is going on? What else you guys want to talk about? I wish I would have had my shit together and I could have had the bracket for tonight. But this one I can't blame on the bracket itself. This was all me. This is my failings as a host.
Worse things could have happened, boss.
Well, there's always worse that can happen.
That's what she said. I was like, wow, thanks. That does not help the situation at all.
Yeah.
Now go get me a towel.
Make me a sandwich.
Dodgers won the World Series.
Did they now?
Mm-hmm.
Who were they playing? I didn't pay any attention to it.
Yankees.
Oh, well, good for them. I am not a Yankees fan.
Gosh, if the World Series is over, that means I have to put the tarp on the field on my thumbnail. Off season.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to baseball in the last few years. And the Mariners looked like they were kind of, rebuilding and looking good, but I've heard that I haven't read the statements myself, but I've heard they said they're not going to pay for basically not gonna bring in players. So that's been a thing for as long as the Mariners have been in existence. You know, they won't
Sounds
pay
like a
the
really
big,
smart businessman.
Got to spend money to make money.
they've never paid for the big contracts, so they've always let the good players go. You know, you look at they've had through years. There's a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but it goes through the history of the Mariners, and it is, as a Mariners fan, it really makes you angry at the mismanagement of the team over the years. But like the Mariners had Mark Langston when he was Rookie of the Year, Harold Reynolds, Griffey, when they had Ichiro, that's when they actually were kind of good. When he was here, 2001. But they've had Rookie of the Years come through and good players, but have never been able to build a team around them. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's been frustrating, but I don't want to, that's the local team. That's the team I grew up with. And I don't want to pick another team because that's like a Yankee fan or a Boston fan where it's easy to back a winner. To me, that's not being a fan.
No, be true to your school, man.
But if I'm not watching the Mariners, I don't watch the sport. Same goes for Seahawks and, well, the Sonics.
You got a hockey team, don't you? Kraken or something?
Yeah, the Kraken. I've tried to get into it, but I just haven't been able to get into the hockey yet. From what I've heard, the experience is a lot different in person than watching it on TV. And
Hockey's fun in person.
It's kind of like sumo. Watching it in person is completely different than watching it on TV.
Yeah, I've never been to any NHL games, but I've been to minor league games and stuff, and those are fun.
I have watched some of the minor leagues. And it was never on purpose, but the Spokane Chiefs, I think it is, they've had a pretty good program. They minor junior league, minor league, whatever they call it. And I've watched some of theirs a couple of times, them playing for the championship. But that's kind of like, for some reason, a couple of years in a row, I ended up watching the Cornhole Championships. It would just be on, and I'd end up watching it. But I just haven't been able to get into the Kraken for some reason. The Sounders, I did enjoy watching the Sounders. It's soccer. And it's an hour and 10 minutes of nothing, and then a little bit of excitement sprinkled in. And the American game, the MSL, is a lot different than the European game. The European players tend to be a lot better. Their teams are a lot better. And then the Sounders play on artificial turf. So that's what's at the Seahawks Stadium. And they struggle when they play on natural grass because it's a slower pitch than on the artificial. But haven't watched them in a while. And now since I got rid of satellite, I don't get the channel, whatever channel they're on. So I don't get to watch them anymore. And it was fun. I took my son up to a game years ago. Yeah, it's a pretty fun environment. A lot of people having fun. It was funny. There's a drum corps, official Sounders drum corps, and then you've got supporter groups. Each group has their banner and stuff, and they all cheered over the official drum corps and just did their own thing, and nobody was paying attention. Matt. Oh, the WSU, the Cougars are doing pretty good. They're 7-1 this year, so they're bowl
Nice.
eligible.
I just like your guys' hockey team because you can call it the Crackheads. Like you can call your fans the Crackheads.
I couldn't tell you if they're good or not good, or I've never been a hockey fan, so there's still a lot of stuff I don't understand about hockey. I have a rudimentary understanding of hockey.
Usually, once you watch a game or two, you'll pick it up. And if you're used to soccer, it's very similar rules. So.
What sports did you play as a kid?
Football, baseball, wrestling, basketball.
Did you play those in school, or did you do some of them like Little League, or both?
All those were sign-up leagues. Then in school, it was football and wrestling. The baseball coach going into the tryouts, I knew I wasn't making the team for one reason. That's because first thing out of his mouth was, if you're fast, you'll make the team. Well, I was 230 pounds. Now, I was very athletic. I was in great shape, but I was still 230 pounds. I was not running like the rest of the kids. So I knew I was at a great disadvantage because he wanted speed on his team. So.
Yeah, he could have just put you at first base or catcher.
Well, that's the thing. I was a first baseman. But when it comes to running the bases, that's what he wanted. So even my senior year, they needed a first baseman, and so there was a tradition at our school that the seniors got to help pick their team. And from what I was told, I don't know if it's true or not, but because I was friends with all the seniors on the team, because we had all played together for, since, we were like 7 years old. They all fought tooth and nail for me to make the team, and the coach just flat out refused. And they said, like, we need a first baseman. John's the best option for us, and he just flat out refused. So, and by that time, I was out of shape, so like I really don't blame them then. And going into my senior year because I was not in good shape. I had let myself go a bit, so while I wasn't that fast my sophomore or junior year, I was slow as shit my senior year.
What about you, Gary?
Well, when I was little, I played Little League Baseball. Junior high, I played football and basketball and track. And I went out for football as a freshman. And I believe track too. Did not go out for basketball. And then trying to think after that. I know I went out for track again as a senior. And I was on golf team, I think junior and senior year. That was it.
What were your events in track?
Shot put and 220.
I did Little League baseball and Pee Wee basketball. In junior high, I did track. I did shot put and discus. And did shot put in high school up to my junior year. And then didn't do any other sports.
What was your baseball position?
Second base.
Me too. Second base.
I like second base. You didn't get as much action as shortstop, but you got enough to keep you entertained.
Got to take the throws on a steal, which was always pretty exciting. So.
See, now when I played, it was shortstop that always got the throws on the steal, and second base was backing up.
They always had me cover.
I think that's the way it was for us too. Shortstop would take it, and then
That's the way it was in high school. I don't think our little league coach knew anything about coaching baseball. So by the time I got into high school, we actually had a coach who played college baseball. So he actually knew his stuff.
Yeah, when I got into high school, it was there's just kind of other stuff I wanted to do. I know I was in band up through about junior year, but I didn't. Wait, no, I didn't. I played trumpet. I don't think I played trumpet in high school. I did junior high, but I don't think I did in high school. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like forever ago. It's hard to remember. Kind of at that age where now if I'm sitting on the floor when I get up, it sounds like I'm rising up to attack the villagers.
Were you a letterman in any sport?
I did. I lettered in track. I never got my letter. They gave it to someone to give it to me, and they lost it. So I never ended up actually getting my letter. But I lettered in shot putting.
I would have been a 3-year letter in football if I hadn't torn my shoulder. Because the shoulder tear, it happened my sophomore season, but I played the entire season with it like that, not knowing. And then when we finally figured it out, it was only a few months before my junior season started. So it really messed up my junior season.
Yeah, when I got to high school for track, I was just kind of middle of the road. Junior high, I was one of the better ones, but when I got up to high school, there were guys that were bigger, stronger. But our school, I think we're in the Narrows League. Was our division? We would always win, and the coach would get upset if we didn't win by enough. But I did enjoy doing. I would always say I was in field, not in track, because I would lay around on the field and not really work that hard. I was a little bit lazy. I learned a big lesson in junior high. Because from the pool of junior highs that we played, I was one of the best. Well, one of the better. But I didn't work that hard. So I had a friend that went to a different school, and I would always beat him during the year. And then one year in the regionals, he was a hard worker. He worked all year. He beat me because he worked harder than me and got better. And I relied on natural talent and strength and didn't progress. Learned a big lesson from that. Mr. Bob said, in the last month, our choir leader, award-winning science teacher, and football coach all passed away. Wow. They were all active when I was in high school, so they was old. I've talked about it before, where I didn't enjoy going to high school, so I didn't go that often. Kind of did the bare minimum. Didn't know what I wanted to do in life. Wasn't sure where I was going. Missed the maximum allowable days every year. Graduated with a C average. I was interesting that I would take some college classes here and there as I moved around. And I realized the older I got, the better my grades were getting. So the last batch of schooling that I did, well, I'm not sure. Because I know when I was living in Pullman, where WSU is, and then I ended up taking some classes, I had a 3.5 grade point. But it took me a while to kind of figure out what I was doing in life. Still not always sure, but not as unsure as I used to be. Were you guys good students?
I was average. That's because I didn't apply myself. High school was too easy, so I just didn't try. It was too easy to just skate by doing the bare minimum. And the bare minimum made me, I don't know, my senior year, I was on the honor roll every quarter except the very first quarter, and that's because I had a D in psychology the first quarter, and I was like, oh shit, I better, give this one just a smidgen of effort.
Mr. Bob said he's still trying to figure out what he wants to be when he grows up. It was kind of funny when after my mom died, I was going through her papers and I found all my old report cards from elementary school. And they all, pretty much all the teachers said the exact same thing. A pleasure to have in class, would do a lot better if he applied himself. I guess things kind of worked out in the end, but it just took a while to figure out what I was doing. Big part of it was it started, had a girlfriend that she kind of started to straighten me out. And she's the one that said, hey, you're here anyways, take classes. Started taking classes, and that was right around the time where I decided I wanted to change things. And because I wasn't really going anywhere in life and knew things needed to change. And then when I met my wife, that gave me focus and direction and kind of led me to where I am now. Mr. Bob said, oh shit, same report cards too. And if I had not met my wife, then this many years later, I may never have met you guys. And you are an important part of my life, Gary.
Aw.
But not by reason.
You could have done so much better if you'd applied yourself.
Probably.
But
So,
yeah, pretty much same story with me. I can remember in first grade we had to take these aptitude tests or something like that, and I was like third in my class or something. I know I got this bronze medal thing, and blah 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 blah, and but somewhere around fifth or sixth grade, I found out that the smart kids in class weren't the most popular ones. So, in fact, if you were really smart, you caught a lot of grief and stuff like that. So, I started doing a little bit of cutting up and slacking off a lot more than I should have. But I was kind of like the same story with me, especially junior high school. I didn't require an awful lot of effort for me to pass a class, so I figured passing a class was good enough. And then when I went to take my ACT in my senior year before college, I can remember they called me and my parents into the guidance counselor's office to go over the results. And the guidance counselor told my parents, he said, well, I saw Gary taking the test, and while everybody else was still working on a test, he was just sitting there kind of looking at the wall and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, oh, goodness sakes, he's goofing off. Then he said, then I got his scores and I realized what was going on. He said, there's no reason for you to be getting the grades you're getting in school right now. I said, yeah, I know. And he said, well, that work ethic's not going to get you anywhere in college, son. So he said, you've got good enough ACT scores, you could get into practically any school you want to. He said, but you're going to have to apply yourself more or you're. So, yeah. Same story. I was capable of a lot more, but I didn't have the will to do it. So, like I say, pretty similar story to you guys. I could have done better. I did what I had to get by.
In high school, I knew the guidance counselor because I had grown up playing basketball with her son. So, we kind of knew each other. So I would go into her office all the time in between classes and then be late for class. But that would be my excuse. I was talking to the guidance counselor until she got tired of seeing me and kicked me out of her office. You were saying something, barbecue?
So I just found it ironic what you said about, if you hadn't met your wife, then you might have never met any of us, et cetera, et cetera. Because, that one class that I did apply myself just a smidgen with, the psychology class. I remember my psychology teacher the one day talking to us, and he's talking about, how different all of our lives are. Yet here we are at this one place at this very second, and, at some point in each of our lives, each one of us made a decision that could have been completely different from the other person's, but somehow that decision led us to this very point.
Mr. Bob said there's a tornado warning issued for areas about 45 minutes from him.
Is
Sorry,
that
go
45
ahead.
minutes west of him or 45 minutes east of him?
Or north or south.
He didn't specify. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's all right. Just the profoundness of that. And it's something that I've always carried with me. And every blue moon, something will, make me think of it, like what you mentioned tonight. Because, we all do have different journeys. Just like on the gun stuff. I was born and raised with them. My grandfather gave me a BB gun when I was 3. Foss, you said that you got into them a few years ago. Gary's talked about, going bird hunting with his dad and whatnot when he was younger, and just in that aspect, so many different journeys. But then when you look at career paths and all those things, and then at some point there is something in each of our journeys that made us end up here. So it's pretty neat.
I will think about that sometimes in traffic. I'm sitting in traffic and thinking, all these cars, all these people are coming from different areas, and we all met right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going? Where did they come from? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Is this just a simulation that you have concocted in your own brain that you're just torturing yourself with?
That could be Gary. We could be all a figment of Gary's imagination. He's lying in a hospital bed in a coma.
Why do I have to be in a coma?
Because the last ex-wife hit you in the head with a frying pan.
Oh, I'm sure she felt like it a few times.
Mr. Bob said, I was always bored, stupid with school until I found computers or was pointed towards computers, anyways.
We didn't have computers when I was in school.
Junior high, I took a computer class. We had Apple IIe's, I think. Wrote one graphics program and hated it. Never wanted to program anything again. But that's, doing line by line. It was not fun. Don't even know if it worked. I turned it in late. Mr. Bob said when he was 23, he got into computers. My first computer was my mom's old computer. It was it ran Windows 3.1. I don't remember exactly what it was. I ended up trading it to a coworker for a pager.
Like it.
That would have been 92-ish, somewhere around 92. Mr. Bob said, I got kicked out of typing and German and sent to Auto Tech so I could earn a living for myself. Who knew keyboards would be such a huge part of my world?
That's the one thing I did get A's in high school was typing. I was straight A in typing.
Oh, that's one that I did terrible in. Like that, I won't lie. That is a class that I actually did put forth some effort just to try and get a C, because I would fat finger keys all the time.
I took a typing class in junior high. It was not the fastest. I think I'm not sure if it was like somewhere around 70 words per minute.
I think that's about what I could do, 68.
But I still have to look down. I can't type without looking.
I only did on the number keys. Once I got to that row, I was in trouble.
But now I don't type properly. I just, whatever finger, whatever letter.
At the time, I didn't really see this is something my parents wanted me to do, is take typing, because they thought I might need it. But at the time, the only reason you took typing is if you were going to be using a typewriter in your trade. Little did I know that the computer revolution would kick off in the 80s and that having typing skills would be extremely handy in what I ended up doing later in life. So that's one of those things where that was kind of a happy accident for me.
Mr. Bob said he took typing because the classes were filled with girls.
They certainly were, yeah. Very few guys in there, so yeah. I had my pick of whoever I wanted to sit by, basically. But being one of the better typists in the class, I always got set up in the front row.
Would you sidle up to a girl and ask her, hey, you ever think about being an ex-wife?
Wow, dude. No, I didn't. Although one of the gals I sat next to, because she was a year ahead of me. I was a junior and she was a senior. And after I graduated, I ended up dating her sister. So
You stud.
Well, Mr. Gary,
yo,
is there anything you'd like to plug?
well, let's see. Friday night, Foul Territory, 9 o'clock p.m. And let's see, for my channel members, channel member chat, members only chat, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock p.m. More knife videos coming out. I know I've got more on the way. And should be getting a flashlight sometime in the next couple weeks too from Phoenix. So check that out also. Should be some interesting stuff coming up. And as always, thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. How about you, barbecue?
Oh, got the new furniture yesterday. Slider is really chomping at the bit for me to paint my bathroom now. I don't have a whole lot of ambition to paint my bathroom right now, but he sure does. So probably going to be painting the bathroom sooner than later. But in the meantime, I do plan on making some knife videos since I did find my lapel mic and was able to get the furniture in and do those things that was going to have me distracted since finding the lapel mic. So we'll be definitely dropping some videos here soon. So look for those, and hopefully I'll get some new images out on the Instagrams. But honestly, Instagram kind of annoys me. Just not a whole lot of traffic over there. So yeah, and still putting some finishing touches on the website, making some more portfolios over there. But hopefully in the next week, I'll be able to share the URL for the website with everybody. But in the meantime, like I said, look for the videos. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. And once again, this coming up Saturday is an overnight, and we're doing the giveaways, giving away a bunch of stuff. And it's been fun. And so this was the last Wednesday chat. Appreciate everybody that showed up and was out there chit-chatting. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with. What was your favorite costume growing up? Did you have a favorite class in school? Were you good at school? Good at the learnings? And other than that, hope everybody has a good and safe Halloween and go do something good.